So those of us who did not play football, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, wondered just how common is that? The good news is I have two guys who play defense to answer that question. Domonique, just how common is it that defensive players will be calling out the plays before the ball is snapped?
Well, saying watch out for this, watch out for that, like that's your job. Like we look up tendencies all week, we study all week to be able to prepare when we see certain formations at certain places on the field, certain times in the game. It's important for the offenses to know that we're doing that also and change it up and flip their tendencies so they don't catch us. I think what Lamar is saying is that they aren't doing that. It seems to be that Lamar is making somewhat of a public criticism of the coaching staff to say that they know what we're doing and we're not adjusting. And I guess the stats would suggest that he is right because they haven't lost all that much. I know they lost their tackle last week and they lost Hall of Fame guard Marshall Yonda, but the way that their offense has declined, I don't think is commensurate with those losses. So I think he's suggesting that they aren't as prepared for these games as the defenses that they're going against.
Again, yeah, Lewis, so you played on the defensive side of the ball as well. If the defense is calling out the plays and they're right a great percentage of the time, what does that mean? What is the issue there for Baltimore?
Well, it just means, Greeny, that they have some tendencies. And, you know, when I went back and looked at some of my notes and some of my film study before they played the Chiefs on Monday night, you know, by personnel grouping, they definitely have some tendencies, and they have some people that are indicators for them up front as to where they're trying to run the football. Because, look, all teams try to run the football behind their best blockers, and they have some guys who are much better blockers, both on the offensive line and at tight end, than other guys. And so you can, from a defensive perspective, you're going to be keying on those certain individuals and saying, look, on these down and distances, we're going to make sure that we are ready to go right here at the point of attack. And there are some definite tendencies there. As far as the passing game is concerned, look, they're just limited in what they can do as far as attacking the entire width of the field. They try to attack you between the numbers. So when it comes to certain situations, if I'm a safety, I'm telling the corners, hey, look, a lot of times you're going to be on your own because we're trying to pack this middle of the field here and make sure we take care of a guy like Mark Andrews in particular. So there's no question teams have kind of dialed into what they're trying to do, and they're going to have to change it up and be more diverse. Otherwise, it's going to be more of the same.
So, D. Wood, now you're on the offensive side, and you hear the guys across the ball, and they're calling out your plays, and they're right. What does that mean, and what do they need to do to get that right in Baltimore?
Well, Greeny, listen, the whole advantage of the offense is we know where we're going faster than the defensive guys. So if you take away the advantage of we know where we're going, now it's at best an even matchup, which takes away from the Ravens' rushing attack. You know, I've always said when Lamar Jackson became the starter and the Baltimore Ravens went all in on Lamar Jackson, it was like playing a service academy. And Lewis and Domonique know what I'm talking about. You go playing traditional offenses week to week, and then all of a sudden you run against the Baltimore Ravens. And it's just like, whoa. But now people are starting to look at this offense, and they're starting to key in on little things. And both Neek and Lewis talked about it. Once you start keying in and you're not changing up personnel groupings and all those things that go along with it, people start to get a beat on you, and that little bit can take away from your efficiency as an offense.
So the bottom line of it is this, Domonique. It's a simple question. We know they can win a lot of games. They've won a lot of games. Do they need to diversify their offense? This just feels like another statement. Do they need to diversify their offense if they're going to do what they ultimately want to do, which is win a championship?
Yeah, I think they absolutely do need to diversify their offense, and I think the ways to do that is to give Lamar a little bit more flexibility at the line of scrimmage, because if you come out there and you're planning to run the ball, but you see that the box is loaded, having some other option for Lamar to go to in a passing situation would help them a lot. It's not that they necessarily need to put in a bunch of new, fancy, different trick plays, but they need to do what the defense is not expecting. And if the defense is expecting them to run on first down, then they need to give Lamar the flexibility to change it to a pass. Or if they are in some sort of too deep situation, then he can go back to the run. It appears that they don't have the personnel to just do what they do and be better than everybody they face, which is what they did last year. They're like, we're running this. No matter whether the box is loaded or not, we're going to run this play, and you can't stop it because we are that much better than you at doing this. That day is gone. They need to be a little bit more diverse and flexible at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but bear in mind, this is a team that set all kinds of records for offense last year, and the record looks good, but the questions continue to pile up at the midway point of the season. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.